Shalom and good day all, this is Tiki29 back again for another anime movie review, and in this anime movie review I'll be reviewing Baki Hanma versus Kengan Ashura. I'll give you the synopsis of the film, as it doesn't go for very long, so when I do give the actual, when I do start to watch through the actual movie, I'll probably cover the first 30 minutes in 5-minute intervals and the last 30 minutes in 10-minute intervals. So with it, we have quite a big cast of characters, and I do intend on giving the name of the cast of characters as well. But starting off with the synopsis first, which starts off as, it's the ultimate showdown. The toughest fighters from Baki Hanma and Kengan Ashura clash in this unprecedented, hard-hitting martial arts crossover. Now, the cast of characters consists of Pickle, Mutiba Gezenga, Gaia, Gensei Kuroki, Sen Hatsumi, Agito Kano, Julius Reinhold, Korea Shinogi. We have Biscuit Oliver. We also have Cosmo Ime. We have Kaoru Hanayama. We also have Seishu Akoya. We also have Sol Pang Yoroizuka. We also have Kazuo Yamashiro, who is the person who backs Oma Tokita. We also have Jun Sekabayashi, Shiharu Shiba. We have Ryan Kuhn. We have Oma Tokita, so the main character of the series of Kengan Ashura. We have Jack Hanma, which is from Jack Hanma from Baki Hanma. We have Kaolan Wangzawat, Doppo Orochi. We have Cade Akiyama. We have King Jaku, C. Emperor Kaku. We have Adam Dudley. We also have Koki Shibukawa, Baki Hanma. We have Yujiro Hanma in this as well. We have Kiyo, I'll just call him Kiyo Kato. We also have Katsumi Orochi, the Sea King Retsu. We have Sayaka and Jerry Tyson. And I think we're drawing towards the end of the cast of characters. So we've got Kokumi, Yoshizawa, Hajime. We also have sort of like the heads of the organizations, or the ones who are leading this. So we've got Mitsudo Katahara and Mitsumari Tokugawa, I think it is. And that is all. So when it comes to talking about them in the actual movie, I think I might just use first name basis, or how I remember them by their name. So as I start to begin the first 5 minutes of this film, we start off with a small situation, or a small, I guess, a meeting of acquaintances. And in this, we get to see Baki Hanma along with Oma Tokita as they start to go for their morning exercise. And then all of a sudden, there's sort of like a bit of an earthquake that takes place. And they seem to capture the eyes of each other, seeming to recognize that they're not quite who they seem to be. Not long after that, Oma Tokita is approached by basically the person who sort of like backs him in his tournaments. Not long after that, we do see that they are now invited to an underground tournament, and we learn that there's a bit of a connection with this particular underground tournament to the Tokugawa period, sort of Tokugawa Edo period. And we also learn a little bit of a history there, which is really nice. As they start to make their way to the underground tournament, also within the intro, we do actually get to see all of the cast of characters that I mentioned before that will be appearing in this particular movie. I'll now stop there as I now watch the next 5 minutes and give my short talk on that. So after completing the next 5 minutes for this film, we end up catching up with like other members that have been introduced to us at the beginning and introduced to us at the beginning through the cast of characters that are making an appearance. We get to see Orochi. We also get to see the two doctors speak to each other in regards to what is actually happening. And we see one's got a bit of a nickname called the Dissector, and the other one, well... We also get a bit of a talk in this time period of how the Kengan Ashura organization differs from this particular underground organization, which is connected to Baki Hamna's universe, which is really quite interesting. And I'm sort of wondering when this fight's about to start, so I'll stop here so I can see where things take us in the next 5 minutes. So after completing the next 5 minutes, we learn that there's going to be 3 matches that will be taking place in this particular movie, and the first match consists of consists of the fighters, one being connected to Baki Hamna and the other one to Kengan Ashura. The one connected to Baki Hamna is called Kaoru Hanayama. The one connected to like the Kengan Association is So Pain. And as this fight begins, we start to see them start to take it out on each other, and we also get a little bit of a flashback as well. I'll now wait for the next 5 minutes as we start to draw closer to, or slowly draw closer towards the half an hour mark, to which after that I'll be covering these in after I watch every 10 minutes. So after completing this next 5 minutes, we do end up getting a bit of a flashback relating to Saul Pang's character, and we get to see how he's also like talking with his old man, and also with the fights to come, and also how he looks forward to it. As we start to move back to the arena and in the present, we do get to see Saul Pang get a bit of an injury from Kaoru Hanayama, and we basically await slowly for this fight to end. I'll be covering the next 5 minutes very shortly. So as the next 5 minutes has passed by, we finally learn who the winner is in regards to the first match, to which we learn it's Kaoru up against Sai Pang. And whilst this is occurring within this time of 5 minutes, we end up seeing 2 characters connecting to, of course, the Kengan organization and also the Baki Hamna story, to which they decide to have a bit of a arm wrestle, which is really quite funny. And then one of the masters or instructors of the organization comes in and basically stops them of what they're doing, of like trying to prove who's stronger than who. We do get the return of Oma Tokita as he catches up with his business manager in charge. And as he looks across the room, he ends up locking eyes once again with Baki Hamna, to which they realize that quite likely they will be fighting each other Now it's time for me to finish the next 5 minutes and find out where the next match is taking us, which should take us up to the first 30 minutes of this particular film, which goes for an hour and 5 minutes. As I finally finish off this last 5 minutes, which leads to, say, the halfway mark, within this we get a bit of a flashback in regards to both of the opponents who will be participating in this next match fight. We learn that representing the Kengan Association, we have Ryan Cure, and we, of course, get a bit of a flashback to him. And from that, we also see them entering the arena and also having a bit of a fight with each other. And connected to the Baki Hanma series, we have the Baki Hanma's older brother, Jack Hanma, to which they then begin to have their bit of a fight at the beginning. And then we finally get to see the flashback, which connects to Jack Hanma and also the opponent that he'll be going up against. The next thing that I'll be doing is I'll be covering it in the 10-minute patches, which also I'll be covering every 10 minutes from now. So now at 40 minutes in this time period of the last 10 minutes, we have had Ryan Pure go up against Jack Hanma, and in it we get to see how their fighting styles differ. One thing with Jack Hanma, he likes to sort of like rely on drugs and steroids to give him like a better fighting style, and in the process he also loses against Ryan Cure, who represents the organization of the Kengan, or the Kengan Association. And whilst this battle is like still taking place, we get the appearance of the character of Pickle, to which not long after Pickle comes into the scene, because anyone who has watched either Baki Hanma or Kengan Ashura, Pickle is something that's connected to Baki Hanma. We learned that this person is sort of like meant to be connected to a bit of a prehistoric age and a bit primitive in his nature. And as the tournament is taking place, he ends up breaking through into the underground tournament, ready to basically take on both of the characters, or to take on Ryan and also Jack Hanma. As this is occurring, Jack is wanting to sort of like try to get his last attacks on Ryan Cure, because the winner has already been decided. And not long after that, we have Baki Hanma intervene along with Oma Tokita, to which Oma Tokita, we do get to see him actually approach the character of Pickle, and it looks like his bond with Pickle comes off very similar to how Baki Hanma ended up making a bond or friendship with Pickle. So it would be interesting to see more happen with these characters, especially should they do another movie in regards to Baki Hanma versus Kengan Ashura. Even if they were to name it Kengan Ashura versus Baki Hanma, just as a bit of a sequel. But in that case, with it sort of like taking place in a Kengan arena instead of a Baki Hanma underground arena. Alright, I will now stop here so I can watch the next 10 minutes, return after the next 10 minutes, and work on talking about that when I get back. So now at the 50-minute mark, and what's taken place in the last 10 minutes, the match has finally begun between Baki Hanma and, of course, Oma Tokita. Whilst this is occurring, we do actually get to see a little bit of a flashback as to mainly Oma Tokita as to who his opponent is. And whilst we move into the next area, into the main match scene, we start to see the fight take place. And of course, the opponents taking on each other. And no doubt in this, we do get to see both of these opponents put in full force. Of course, we get to see their weak spots as well as their strengths as they do go up against each other, and I do quite like how they bring that into this particular movie. Another thing it also did too is it also showed us Baki Hanma sort of like practicing before he actually went to the actual tournament arena, to which we got to see him fight a type of projection of sorts that he's able to practice up against. But whilst he goes up against the real thing, we do realize, okay, there are some things that his projection does not actually cover. And in that, yes, we see how he slips up and makes some mistakes, but we also see how Oma Tokita slips up and makes some mistakes too. I'll now wait until the end of the movie to give like the last 10 to 12 minutes of what happens there. And I really hope there's a really good post-credit scene as well, because I wouldn't mind maybe seeing more of this and more of the opponents connected to each of these universes having matches between each other. It's a pity that there's only 3 matches in this. If I were to really say one thing, and this is sort of like something that will carry over into the afterthoughts, that would be, I'd love to see the Baki Hanma versus Kengan Ashura world in this particular story, where we actually get to see all of the opponents up against each other. Even if they were to somehow manage to do it in maybe a short series of about 12 or even 15 episodes, it would be quite interesting to see how they would pull it off. Alright, I'll stop now because I've got the last bit of the movie to cover. So, as we start to approach the end of the movie, we still get to see the fight continue between Baki Hanma as well as Oma Tokita, to which not long whilst during their fight, they both end up on the ground, and as they begin to stand up, there is an entrance between 2 people connected to, of course, both series. We get the appearance of Kuroki as well as Yujiro, and we get to see a bit of a conversation that happens between those characters. Of course, the ones who are running the tournament, they end up giving, I guess, a little bit of a slight foreshadowing that there might actually be another movie coming out in relation to this particular tournament, which we might be able to see Kuroki versus Yujiro Hanma. And I think that would be really quite interesting to see that take place. Not long after that, of course, it's declared a draw between Baki Hanma and also Oma Tokita. And not long after we move into the end of the story, we do get to see both of the characters sort of like doing their own formal training, as it now looks like Oma Tokita has sort of, in a way, learnt how to project a silhouette of the opponent that he wishes to sort of like fight now, as we also get to see Baki Hanma start to project his new silhouette in relation to the character of Oma Tokita. Moving eventually towards the end of the film, we do end up get a bit of a laugh type moment, to which there's also a bit of a draw between other characters connected to both of the universes, to which these 2 characters were both really really desperately wanting to go to the toilet. Yes, that's right, the toilet. Talk about a flushing joke. Alright, now to move into the area of the afterthoughts. I'm really quite surprised with this movie and what it had to offer. Personally, I still really think that this movie should have been longer because I would have liked to have seen more fights between more characters. Like maybe even Cosmo versus someone else, including some of the other characters that are connected to the Kengan Ashura universe, and which members of the Kengan Association which they would pick. I did also like how in this particular fight that they still kept remnants of the Kengan Association that does happen within the story. So with the Kengan Association, they actually do like to broadcast the fights, but in regards to the underground organization, in regards to Baki Hanma, they like to, in a way, still keep things like a bit of a private audience. So both of these things were actually pretty well respected, and I did like seeing that. As I have watched both of these series, I'm looking forward to watching more of Kengan Ashura when it comes out, and hopefully, who knows, maybe I might just do a general review on the series of Kengan Ashura, and also a general review on Baki Hanma. That's providing I've got the time and whatever. So, moving into the next thing, and that is the area of the racing. So, the main characters in this particular movie, I have to say that the main characters in this movie would have to be the characters that actually fought in the movie. So that would be Baki Hanma, Kengan Ashura, or the Kengan Ashura fighters that were picked, which would be Omatokita, Ryan, and the other character that he, Kaoru, that he went up against. We also got to see, last but not least, the fighters at the beginning of the also the other fighters, which I'm so sorry. I know I mentioned the characters at the beginning, but for the main characters, for the rating, I give it a 7.5 out of 10, as I did quite enjoy the opportunity to which they brought these characters together. I would also offer a 7.5 for the supporting characters, and I think if they were to do another movie, I'm not too sure, or maybe even a series that focuses on this, I think that might actually work out better if they did it in that format. Turn this particular movie into a bit of a series, to which we would actually get to see all of the characters get to actually fight. With that, I think it would probably earn an 8 to an 8.5 from me, but until then, it's staying at a 7.5 for both main characters and supporting characters. Next is the area of the soundtrack, to which the soundtrack was pretty decent, and I did also like the opening in regards to that, to which I'll give a 7.5 out of 10. Next is the area of the animation, to which I give a 7.5 out of 10. And last but not least, the area of the overall story, to which I'll give a 7.5 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.